weapon, and without Chris Paul creating stuff for him, he's got to do it all himself. The Lakers know that too, and they did a great job on him. He was frustrated, Stephen A. That was a dirty play, and while he wasn't way up in the air, it was also kind of a dangerous play. And Chris Paul's play on LeBron was the same. And I got to say, the way we look at someone like Belichick, and maybe that's taking it too far because he's really been scandalized, but some dudes are so competitive, we know they'll bend the rules if they think they can get away with it to help them. Chris Paul is one of those guys for me. I think it's having an effect on the team. He's ultra competitive. He gets away with what he can get away with, and Devin Booker tried it last night, and he got caught.
First of all, it was a dirty play, and he deserved to be ejected. I understand that. But let's pump the brakes. I've seen far worse. The game is so incredibly soft these days. I mean, please. Shooter was barely an inch off the ground when he got shoved. I mean, again, you got to call the eject. You got to call a flagrant foul. It's got to be an ejection. I saw Devin Booker speaking before he got ejected, and you could just see their level of frustration because their whole thing is that, man, if CP3 were healthy, we could take these guys. We could take these guys. They know we compromise. They talking smack. They're trying to big boy us. They're getting physical. And by the way, it is difficult, and I feel sorry for Monty Williams to a degree. I've got several plays that I've looked at. It is difficult to coach against LeBron James because LeBron James gets calls that other people don't get. LeBron James gets a lot of favorable treatment, even though there are times where this physicality that's exerted against him that doesn't get called enough in his favor. I'll give him that as well. But there are times where, you know what, you see plays that are called against another team. It could be traveling. It could be anything. They get called against another team that never get called against LeBron James. And that's very, very frustrating for an opposing coach. And it's frustrating for other players. And when you combine that with CP3 not being healthy, it is a challenge for Phoenix. You can see it written all over Devin Booker's face last night because obviously he's got more responsibility when Devin Booker isn't out, when CP3 isn't out there, even though Cameron Payne has been doing a really, really good job. I've been really impressed with that kid. He has surprised me. But you can see their frustration, and he acted out. No doubt it was a dirty play. But let's not act like, oh, my God, it was one of the worst things we've seen. This league has gotten so soft. It's we've seen far worse than what Devin Booker did last night. Yeah. Far worse.
Yeah, it was dirty.
All right. We'll leave it there. Guys, another story I want to get to here. The Bucks looking like men amongst boys, owning the Heat in Dade County, a 29-point win. Pat Riley, not a happy camper, visibly annoyed courtside. Milwaukee taking a 3-0 lead thanks to Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis. Giannis, he's focused, man.
We're gonna stay focused. The job's not done here. We got one more to go. Obviously, in the game 4, Miami's gonna come out even tougher. They're gonna play better.
We got to get one before we can get anything else. We control what we can control, and that's how we play. That's how we prepare, and how we compete. We're not too worried about what history says and all of that good stuff. But we got our work cut out for us.
So history says the Heat, they don't got a chance. Teams up 3-0 in a best-of-7 series have never lost 140-0 over 60% of the time. The team down 3-0 gets swept. On that note.
Swept.
Yeah, or swept. What did I say?
Sweep.
Whatever, I hate you. Can we come on camera now? Thanks. Hi, Big Perk. Max is just schooling me over here with his Ivy League education.
It doesn't take an Ivy League education.
This guy.
I would hope.
No one else is amused. Perk's mad at you. Yeah.
Molly, I just cannot believe Stephen A. this morning. I really can't. I've been sitting up here watching this, and I just can't believe the words that he uttered out of his mouth just now about that foul that Devin Booker did on Dennis Schroeder. Did you see in the way that Dennis Schroeder landed? He could have tore his ACL or something. That was a dirty play.
Stop it.
This man is off balance. He could have twisted his leg and tore something. And then you said that LeBron James get calls, and you can understand their frustration. I recall a play in the first quarter where CP3 tried to flop on Anthony Davis, was running down the court, and Scott Foster having to be running on the side of him, and CP3 literally took his hand and chopped Scott Foster's arm down and got away with it. Anybody else would have got.
I saw that.
CP3 gets 5 steps to the basket.
I saw that. No. Well, first of all, I don't know why you can't believe it. First of all, I've seen you breathe on people harder than Schroeder fell last night. So let's stop that, okay? Number 2, you are right about the CP3 slapping of Scott Foster. I did see that. You're absolutely right about that. And the other thing about it is this. Here's the deal. We can say what we want to say because I'm not denying that you're right about LeBron James in some aspects, but I'm not wrong about what I said either. There's a lot of things that he doesn't get, and then there are a lot of things he does get in his favor. And all I was really trying to say about Phoenix last night, you could see the Lakers big boy in Phoenix and talking smack to them. Phoenix got frustrated. Devin Booker got frustrated. You could tell that they're a team that'd be like, listen, look at how we played in game 1. Look at how we played in game 2, even with CP3. Man, if we had him healthy, boy, could we take these dudes. You can see the frustration.
Listen, Peachtree Street, you don't need to defend yourself right now. Let's stay focused on the subject here. Stephen A., do the Bucks have...
Excuse me?
I said Peachtree Street.
Peachtree?
Yeah.
I'm on Peachtree Street.
You're in Atlanta.
Okay.
You've never heard of it?
Yeah. I've heard of Peachtree Street. I just don't think that's where... I'm on Pleasantdale right now, but I got it.
Oh, my gosh. It's a joke. Could we just go, please? God, you guys are disasters today. Stephen A., do the Bucks have a big 3?
Yes, they do. It's time we stand up and look at Middleton. He's coming, y'all. He's coming. Now, let's stop the presses for 1 second here. Let's not think about the past. Let me do a Mark McGuire here. I'm not here to talk about the past. I'm not here to talk about the past. I'll stay right here. Middleton, if he continues to play the way that he has been playing, Brooklyn's got a problem. The brother is making shots, and he's making shots in clutch moments as well, as we saw in game 1. Now, obviously, they blew him out of game 2 and annihilated them in game 2. And then game 3, we saw what we saw last night. This is a sweep. Bring out the brooms. Remember Galifianakis in the movie The Campaign with Will Ferrell, which was absolutely hysterical, and I love that movie. He said, I'm bringing my broom because it's a mess. And that's what's going on in South Beach. There will not be a game 5. It is over. It's a sweep that's coming their way. And it ain't just because of Giannis. It's because of Jrue Holiday. It's because of Middleton. It's because of the fact that the 3 of them play on both ends of the floor. And if you've got that going on, okay, remember, the Greek Freak can do what you need him to do for the first 40 to 43 minutes of a game. But when it's time to close, you need dudes that can make shots from the perimeter, and you need dudes who can defend. And right now, when you look at Middleton and you look at Jrue Holiday, they could potentially have something to say about it. I like what I'm seeing from them right now. I can't ignore it.
And guys like Bryn Forbes can't miss, by the way. Budenholzer deserves some credit so far for the way they're playing in this series.
Max. Forbes. Look, you're right about Forbes.
Yep. Yeah. Now, this is not really directed at you, Stephen A., because you weren't here this day. This is directed at Molly, Perk. I don't remember if you were on, Chris Canty and others who tried to sit here with a straight face and tell me that I was crazy for saying LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love was a big 3 because they didn't consider Kevin Love, who's a 5-time All-Star. All-Star.
That is not what you said.
Yes, it is. 2 times.
No, you didn't. You said
have your. Go ahead.
The argument was that it wasn't that we didn't say they was a big 3. You called them a super team.
Right, because they had a big 3, and then you started arguing with me.
Yeah, he's right.
And then you started arguing with me about it wasn't because of Kevin Love. Now, Kevin Love was a altogether 5-time All-Star, max contract player, traded for a number 1 pick, made 2 All-Star teams with the Cavs, and they went to 4 finals and won a championship. I was told he doesn't qualify as a member of a big 3. But 2-time All-Star Chris Middleton, Jrue Holiday, who once made an All-Star team in 2013, that qualifies as a big 3. It's a big 1 with 2 other dudes who are sometimes, once in a while, All-Stars. A big 3, look in Brooklyn. Perennial All-Stars. All 3 of them Hall of Famers. 2 MVPs on the team. That is not what Milwaukee has. Milwaukee has a big 1 with 2 dudes who are really good, not quite great, but good players, and a real good supporting cast. That is not a big three, y'all.
Well, Max, first of all, the argument that we had before I interrupted you when I was on the show with Chris Canny and Molly was that you called the Cavs Big Three a super team. And I said that they weren't a super team. Just because you have a big three don't make it a super team, okay? That's the first thing. Second of all, the Milwaukee Bucks do have a big three. And look, you're a numbers guy. Check out the stats. Giannis is averaging 24 and 16 right now. Chris Middleton is averaging 22 points and shooting 43% from the three. Drew Holiday is averaging 16 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds. Is that not the making of a big three? Look at that stat line. Okay, so you have guys that are capable of putting up those.
Takes two of them.
Oh, my God, Max. What else do you need? I was on the team with a big three, right? With a Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett. They didn't all
now that's a big three.
They averaged 22.
I'm not talking about the averages.
21. I'm saying, like, when you talk about a big three, Max, you talk about the now and what their production is on the floor. I'm looking at this Milwaukee Bucks team, and they have 3 guys on the floor that are capable of carrying this organization to the finals. They have 3
Drew Holiday, an
guys
all-star. Don't you think you have to at least make an all-star? You have to be an all-star to be a member of a big three? I'm not saying the Hall of Fame just make him be an all-star.
Hey, Max,
Drew Holiday was an all-star.
Hold on, KP. Max, could you stop? Because, see, I'm glad that KP brought that up because that's what you do all the time. See, when you take a multitude of positions or you sit up there and say, well, y'all didn't understand what I said, so let me explain. Then you can turn around weeks later and say, well, I said something that and then somebody else comes and say, no, that's not exactly what you said. We just started off the segment. What did I say? I ain't here to talk about the past. I'm talking about how they're looking. The way that they're looking. Remember the question mark.
Saying.
No, exactly. No. That's what we're saying now. So in other words, if you're responding to what we're saying, pay attention to what we're saying. We ain't talking about the past. The way Drew Holiday and Middleton are looking right now, I'm saying that could potentially be a big-time problem for the Brooklyn Nets. Because what we were looking for from Middleton, what we're getting from Middleton now, we didn't get from him last year.
I understand that, and Middleton can play at an all-star level, and I like Drew Holiday a lot. But everyone knows what we mean when we say a big three. It means perennial all-star caliber player. Drew Holiday's not one of the 5 or 6 best point guards in the league.
I got a question.
I love him, but he's not. Yeah.
Real quick. Does Philadelphia have a big three?
Does who?
Yes or no? Philly.
No.
But did you pick Philly at the beginning of the season?
I did. I don't think you need a big three to get picked.
Thank you.
Yeah,
but we're telling you Milwaukee got a big three, and you saying you don't think they need a big three.
The question is not can Milwaukee win, it's do they have a big three?
Yeah,
and we said yes.
Max,
and I say no. That's what we're arguing about.
I'm just trying to
word,
figure
Kendrick.
out right now in the moment, the Milwaukee Bucks are up on the current Eastern Conference champions, 3-0. And Drew Holiday, Giannis, and Chris Middleton are putting up big three type numbers. Why are they not a big three right now?
So they're playing like a big three right now.
Okay.
For 3 games of the series, they're playing like a big three. That's your argument?
We got to go. Those 3 account for 55% of the team's points per game. Still to come, New York City, stand up. Both the Knicks and Nets are flying high, but how far do both teams need to go to consider this season a success? The guys debate that next. Also, the last time Ryan Clark joined the show, he called Tim Tebow joining the Jags a non-story. But does RC still feel the same way with Tebow